So you've probably spent some time coding by yourself. You've got your own flow, your own system. It works. But what happens when you jump onto a team project? Suddenly, it's a whole new ballgame. We're going to dive into how you go from being a solo act to part of a symphony using Git and GitHub to make sure you're all playing in harmony. And that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, you've got multiple people all working on the same code, sometimes even the same files. How does that not just explode into a complete mess? Well, it turns out there's a pretty smart set of practices and tools built for this exact problem. It all comes down to this one single golden rule. You have to treat the main branch like it's sacred. It's the final, working, pristine version of your project. It's the source of truth. Every single thing we're about to talk about, every tool, every workflow, it's all designed to protect this one idea. So to live by that golden rule, we obviously need a way to build new stuff without, breaking the one thing we're trying to protect. This brings us to the absolute bedrock of how teams work together in Git. And the answer is the branch. Honestly, the best way to think about a branch is as your own private, isolated workspace. It's like you've made a copy of the entire project that's just for you. You can go wild in there, experiment, build, test, even break things completely. And none of it will ever touch the main project until you're ready. It's pure freedom and safety rolled into one. And getting this distinction is, well, it's everything. The main branch is that golden copy. It needs to be stable and ready to go at all times. Your feature branch, though, that's your sandbox. That's your laboratory. It's where the new, messy, creative work happens, totally separate from the source of truth. These two things have very different jobs, and that's the whole point. Okay, so what does this actually look like day to day? Let's say you just got a new assignment, a new feature to build. The very first thing you do, before you even think about writing a line of code, is to create your own dedicated workspace. And the process is actually really simple. First, you use git checkout B, which is this great little shortcut that both creates your new branch and switches you over to it in one go. Then you just do your thing. You code, you build, you commit your progress as you go, and yeah, commit often. Finally, you push your branch up to the team's shared repository. The key thing here is that none of this has touched main. You're just sharing your work in progress in its own little container. Okay, so you've pushed your work up. You've been working in your own little bubble. Now it's time to actually collaborate. This is the moment where you officially propose that your new, awesome changes should become part of the main project. It's time to start a conversation. And that conversation happens in what's called a pull request, or just a PR. But a PR is so much more than a button to merge code. Think of it as the project's town square. It's where your teammates can review your changes, leave comments, have a discussion, and where all the automated quality checks happen. It's the gatekeeper for the main branch. The whole lifecycle is pretty slick. You push your branch, and GitHub basically says, hey, you want to open a PR for this? You open it up, and then your team jumps in. They'll look at the code, maybe ask some questions, suggest a few tweaks. You can even add more commits to your branch to address their feedback. Then, once you get the green light, the code gets merged. And just like that, your new feature is officially in the project, and that golden rule is still safe and sound. But it can't always be that easy, right? What happens when you go to merge your work, but someone else on your team already changed the exact same line of code you did? This, my friends, brings us to the main event, the merge conflict. And I want you to pay close attention to that subtitle, because this is a normal part of working on a team. You are going to see this. It is absolutely going to happen. It's not a question of if, but when. You're working in your branch, a teammate is working in theirs, and you both happen to touch the same line of code. When you try to bring those two different histories together, Git just stops. It puts on the brakes and asks for a human to help out. And the very first thing you need to remember is this. Don't panic. Seriously. A merge conflict is not an error. You didn't break anything. It's just Git's way of saying, hey, you told me to do one thing here, but someone else told me to do a different thing on the very same line. I can't read minds, so I need you, the human, to tell me what the correct version should be. So to get specific, this only happens when there's a direct collision. Git is actually incredibly smart and can merge thousands of changes automatically. But when your branch and the main branch have different ideas about the exact same line, that's when it needs you to step in and make the final call. Now, when this happens, Git will literally rewrite the file and put these kind of scary-looking markers in there. But let's demystify them. It's just a map. Anything below S head is your version. Then you see that line of equal signs? That's just the divider. And everything below that, down to the triple line greater than, is the other version coming in from the other branch. That's it. Git is just showing you both versions side by side. And fixing it is a simple 3-step recipe. First, you just open the file in your code editor. You become the editor. You delete all those marker lines, the triple slash, the double equal signs, all of it. And you just edit the code until it's correct. Maybe you keep your version, maybe you keep their version, or maybe you combine them. You decide. Then you git add the file, which is your way of telling Git, hey, I fixed it, the conflict is resolved. And finally, you git commit to seal the deal and finalize the merge. You're back in business. Okay, so now that we've got branches, PRs, and even conflicts down, let's zoom out. Professional teams don't just rely on good habits and hope for the best. They actually build a powerful safety net right into GitHub to enforce all these good practices automatically. This safety net has a few key parts. First, you protect the main branch. This makes it literally impossible for anyone to push code directly to it. Every single change must go through a pull request, no exceptions. Then you require reviews, which means at least one other person has to look at the code and approve it before it can be merged. And finally, you use GitHub issues to track all your work. By linking your PRs back to these issues, you get a perfect trail of not just what changed, but why it changed. You're basically automating the golden rule, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. These tools, these workflows, they're just the language we use to have a productive, safe, and clear conversation with our team through our code. Your code becomes a dialogue. So I guess the only question left is, are you ready to start collaborating?